Food's here.
You guys can open it.
Happening there.
I want to know what that drink was. Like,
I know, right? I asked for extra wing sauce.
They didn't give it to you.
You do wing sauce route with the wings?
Yeah, I like to dip the wings into
What is
the
that
sauce.
the wing sauce?
This is ketchup. They didn't
They didn't give you wing sauce? Oh. All right.
Ready?
Yeah.
All right,
I
here we
think
go.
so. I talk a lot with my hands.
Getting where you're at and doing this
Are you
is
making
all those
sandwiches?
things manifest
Look at him
themselves
over here,
to
Chef
what they
Boyer
should
Will.
be, because as soon as you step into your
Making
power,
sandwiches out of
do something
wings.
together.
How do you guys eat these wings and not get your face all messy?
We're
I don't see how you get your face messy.
for sure.
Mine.
But there was nothing
It's just my hair.
I'm gonna do it.
Not, you know, I will say that it
No,
was
you didn't have it.
athletic.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Real People in Real Estate podcast, where we talk about the real shit and not about real estate. I'm one of your hosts, Brooke Jones, aka the Millennial Agent.
What's up, guys? It's your girl Tyra Nicole here.
Hey everybody, I am Nicole Pay, and we are switching things up tonight. We are going to do some reactions to some of our previously recorded podcasts. I'm not sure if we're ready for this, but we're going to do it. So we're
I
going to
think
see.
everybody still need to get close to their mics, though.
We do.
Or, like,
Yeah, get a little bit
bring them-
closer.
Or at least
Alright.
bring them closer.
Closer?
Like, bring that mic
We've
up.
got Will and Rob on the podcast.
Podcast tonight in
The
the
behind the
building
scene guys have come into the scene.
have come into.
But we're going to revamp the podcast. Our vision for the podcast is to have more people and more voices and more opinions to make
Yep.
it a little bit more interesting.
exciting.
Facts.
I'm looking forward to it. So we are going to dive into, and I don't know if I'm ready for this because I don't know if I want to see myself a year ago now, but
This
we're
is
gonna do it.
important. You're about to get uncomfortable.
Gross.
You guys make me uncomfortable
Gross.
all the time. So let's just go ahead and dive into
Gross.
it.
So this
who
is our
Yeah,
this is
okay. Oh.
season 1.
Season
I don't know,
one.
episode maybe 4 or 5.
No, it should be 2. It should be 2. Yeah.
Oh, episode 2.
This was our very first guest after Nicole.
Yep.
Nicole was our first guest, and this was
Becky Alley.
yeah.
I had blonde hair.
That's what I think. That's the funniest part about it is I don't think any of us look the same because my
Right, you
hair
cut
was
your
really
hair off.
long.
Yeah.
So that's even funnier. Is that all right?
Ready?
Yeah.
I
right, here we
think
go.
so.
Go ahead.
I'll take a few fries.
No way.
I'm Brooke. I'm Tyra. And I'm Nicole.
That's
And
nice
today
and
we have
loud.
the pleasure and privilege to have the amazing Becky Alley, Vice President Banker with Capital Mortgage Funding and co-host of the Hardcore Mortgage Show. Welcome to our podcast. Yay! I'm so happy to have you here today.
Becky brought the
Love
energy.
it, love it. So we are about to pop some bottles and get some champagne. That was a good job. That's a good one today. Good one today. So we're gonna get the champagne flowing. How's everyone's week going, you guys? How you guys doing?
Amazing.
Amazing. It's been a good week. I forgot what day it was. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was Thursday, but really it's Wednesday. It's Wednesday. Yeah, I feel like
Can I get one of you?
this week was one of those I didn't know if I was coming or going. I needed my handler to step up. Your handler. Yeah. Handler. I've got mine pouring champagne back there. So step up on that one. Yeah. That's too funny.
You can't say that
So we're
ever
gonna start because I want to ask.
That's what she said.
She said that off.
She said it.
It was on Sunday. I did.
Who's
You
her
did.
handler?
Yeah, oh, thank you.
Raquel.
Did you guys watch?
Oh.
No.
Of course you did. What? Wow.
Sorry.
I typically don't. Okay, so I typically don't, but this time I did. I was laying around, decided to check in, and I just really want to quick give a shout out to Beyonce, who now holds a record for the most snaps to clean.
Yes, I did hear that.
To the
I saw
most
that on
Grammy wins,
Facebook.
and Lizzo for record
Who
of the
did this
year,
editing?
first African American female
Fucking
from
amazing.
Whitney Houston.
Thank you.
I know.
Hello?
Yeah.
Great job,
from
Brooke.
Whitney Houston
I love
to
it.
win Record of the Year.
Like the cut
Both
from
African
Conversation.
American women dominating
I love
the
it.
force. Happy Black History Month. Should be longer than month. We'll talk about that later another time. But on that note, like women in dominated men fields. Let's talk about it for a minute. Becky, you are a woman. But don't talk about real estate. I am a woman. You are a woman, but you're not allowed to talk about real estate.
No,
But you
it's
are
okay.
a woman in a male-dominated field. Tell us about that. Like, what is it like coming
I
up
talk a
in
lot
this
with my
field
hands.
and getting where
That's
you're
fine.
at and being the vice president? Like, what has it been like for you?
It's definitely been a challenge, and actually, since you brought up Lizzo, she brought up something that is kind of relevant to how I feel. You know, when she took her acceptance speech, she talked about how
I was about to
she
say
had moments
something,
of
but
doubt, and she
I
wanted
won't
to
say
put
it
out
on
positive music, and there's a lot of pressure for them to pull off these ballads and all this stuff, and
Do we
need to pause
stay
it?
true to the
No, I
course.
was about to
and,
say
you know,
something,
like I
then
said, I'm gonna
the
keep
camera
putting
was
out this
rolling,
positive
so
music,
I
and people are
decided
gonna
not to.
want to listen to it. And it's almost like that same mentality that you know, when you're just trying to make any kind of positive impact, you have those moments of self-doubt
Okay, we can
where
edit
you
it.
feel like
So
you're doing the wrong thing, and
I'll be honest, like when I watched this one, because like I said, I watched
my
all of
reality,
Yeah.
right? It might not be someone else's
Do you wanna pause
reality.
it real
I got a
quick?
little
My
bored of
perception
it, but it was like
I've had
when
to
we
work
were
10
doing
times harder
it,
than my male
it seemed
counterparts
very
to even
interesting
get
with her.
a little bit of
But
the
then when I
recognition
actually
that,
watched
you
it,
know,
I was a
deserve.
little bored of it.
I think sometimes we need to switch the topic a little bit
to a point
faster.
where I was like,
Yeah.
Lizzo,
I look
right
at him
now,
a lot, and he'll be
And
like,
stop talking about the
I
same
finally
topics.
stood up for myself. I heard some
Yeah.
things that I didn't agree with, and I used to have this mentality where
I
would
think
just
'cause
put my
she's
nose
so
down
used
and
to
I'm crying
maybe,
so
like,
hard, and
interviewing
I'm gonna be so
people.
good, you can't ignore me. But why are you still ignoring me?
Right.
So
Why
Her
are you
acceptance
acting-
speech was
Yeah,
kinda
phenomenal.
took
by
over
way.
the
Like,
podcast
you guys
a
really
little
took it up.
bit.
It was
See.
absolutely from a
She
even her
dominated it.
performance
which is funny
was
because
We
great.
didn't
So,
like take over like I think we should have.
I think we can maybe direct the conversation, but I think that's the point of the podcast. It's like we choose the guests, we're choosing them because we're giving them the platform to basically say the
Talk
things
with-
that's on their mind
Yeah, that's
and
true,
share
too.
their thoughts. And so, I mean, while her content might be not super interesting,
It seemed interesting when we were recording, when we were
Because the
here
juicy part gets towards the end. I think we need to jump into the juicy part from the get-go.
though. Yeah.
yeah.
Like, not talk about, like, how's the day going? Like,
she's
let's
answering
talk
the question.
about... Right. Yeah.
That's true.
Let's talk
Yeah.
about, okay, Becky, so...
You're married to a lady.
Yeah, because that's what people are there at the podcast
And then this was
for.
like our first one kind
No, I mean,
of
for
like
real.
interviewing a guest.
And I think
Really?
I
That's
feel
why
like
we got
sometimes like
her.
I tread lightly on stuff and not knowing, and maybe that's where
We try to throw them in the fire.
the preparation comes,
Yeah.
you know, with us before, because I do feel like even when we were talking, not to jump to another subject, but when we were talking about with Ed and I mentioned like gentrification, like it's a subject that's such a tiptoe subject, but it's reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Detroit is being taken over by gentrification, so I didn't know like how far I should get into that.
But so now you know, like just get into
Yeah.
it. Like if
Yeah.
it's something you want to bring
Yeah.
up, let's
Because
just do
it's
it.
not our opinion, it's theirs. They're telling their story.
yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. So okay.
All right,
Went up there and did her thing, and she sang, and she deserved every ounce of the award.
which is so funny because
that
she's
she
in
got.
such
It
controversy
was
right now.
unbelievable.
She is.
But,
Lizzo?
but yeah, she did sing out about that
Huge
a lot.
controversy.
With her dancers?
You know,
Yeah,
keeping that
with her
positive,
dancers.
positive energy, positive music.
I don't know nothing
Same thing.
going on in the
Positive
world.
attitude. People are going to
I don't
listen. People are going
remember.
to follow.
In the
And that's what you
entertainment
did,
world,
and
that's
that's
just-
you know awesome. You know what? Cheers to that. Let's
Right.
cheers. Cheers.
Whatever she
Cheers to
said,
that, because
we
you know
set it
what?
up.
Like.
Yeah.
Keeping true to yourself is definitely something that's
And I do want to thank you guys. I mean, for me to be asked as your guest on the third show, this is a big
was our
deal.
third.
I
So
don't
who
take
was
it
our
lightly.
second?
No, because you guys
I'm
are
honored to be here,
Right.
and amongst
I know, but
what
I
you
was
guys are
always
doing
second.
is big,
First
and
and second.
people are asking me about hey, what's up, what's going on over there.
You interviewed each other.
No, she Nicole was
first
first.
one. So who was the second one?
Oh, Brooke.
Was that Brooke?
We did Brooke.
Here.
Oh,
That's what
okay.
happened.
But now it's
So it
being
is the
brought.
third.
Oh, that's
So,
awesome.
You're throwing
Thank
it out
you.
there, people are catching it, so.
And then we had that
Thank you
line.
for letting me be
Yeah.
here, for sure.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. It's been a lot of fun, you know. I
Great
think-
to have you.
Absolutely,
And we
yeah.
appreciate you.
I'm torn though, Brooke, because I think I might like you sitting there.
The what?
I might like you
guys
sitting
are my
there
people,
better.
And, you know, kind of going back to what we were talking about, like,
Do
you like sitting
was
there?
already
Huh?
manifested in the stars.
You don't always sit here?
It was going to happen.
No, she always sits there.
She was sitting there.
But I almost like looking at this, like
I'm
like our
bring
Yeah, that
that
last time.
positive people in my life because
Thank
I've
you so much.
surrounded myself with some people that I shrunk myself to fit in their space, and I was doing myself a disservice.
Another
and when you
one-
stop
She jumped
doing
into it.
that, naturally
Yeah,
the
she
right
did.
people
That's
are
what I was
attracting
saying.
them. And this is what this
She's
moment cultivates. This
I think
is what
that she's used
what you
to-
guys are doing. This
Are you
is
making
all of these
sandwiches?
things manifest
Yeah.
themselves
Look at him over here,
to
Chef
what they
Boyer
should be,
Will.
because as soon as you step into your
making
power,
sandwiches out of
Do something
weird.
light
together.
and your vibe, the right people are going to come along, and then you stop focusing on trying to make those little
tweaks. Yes, to fit in someone else's spot when you're big enough, you're bad enough. I mean, to roll with.
So I will say this: it's crazy to watch someone like Becky who naturally does a lot of interviews, and you can tell that she naturally. Compared to our interview with Ed last week, where Ed told us this was the first podcast interview that he's ever done.
You know, I get down with all that. So
and I feel like that. Not that Becky's not genuine, because I do believe that she is with what she says, but you can kind of tell like the difference in the scriptedness of what's being said. Do you guys feel that at all, or is it?
That's why we have to ask questions. So
that they can't script because she's used to being in this
You talked about how you had to kind
space of
See
answering.
how I tried bringing it towards the.
surround yourself by the right people.
Brooke's our person to like change.
She's our go-to change subject person.
Sometimes it's hard
about
though.
your childhood.
I feel like I have a question to like change it, but then like it gets turned a whole other way, and then I'm like, oh shoot, now I don't know how to go off that.
So I'm not gonna lie, I had a very blessed childhood. My parents were not rich by any means, but they spent time with us, right? So during those pivotal.
See, these are the wings. How do you guys eat these wings and not get your face all messy?
We're loved.
I don't see how you get your face messy.
For sure.
Mine's not.
But there was nothing
It's just my
that
hair.
we did not have, and there was 4 of us,
It's just
and I don't
my
know how they
hands.
afforded us, to be honest with you, because now that I have
I'm not
children,
gonna try.
I don't know.
We're on camera.
How they
Not
did it,
doing
so it's crazy.
Sorry.
You know,
Using
I
an
will say
napkin?
that, you
No,
know, I was
you didn't have it.
athletic, you know, like I always had a lot of friends, you know,
you
as
got
far
more
as
time
like,
for it?
Yeah,
I'm about to
that's
drop a
what
bomb
next one.
when I'm gay.
Yeah, she can talk.
That's what I'm saying. Like she's used to being in this space of having interviews. So like that's what we need to trigger. Like the spots of people who don't.
I think our most viewed podcast right now is Kelly though.
Really?
It had over 100 views on it.
That was a great interview
That
too.
short is going crazy.
The one with
Tyrone.
Tyrone. Yeah.
Where's
That
that?
was a
I
good
think
one
it's
though.
like over 5,000 or something.
Oh really?
Really?
I can't see it. Can you see it?
And obviously, Tyrone has a fan base by the phone call.
That's
Just made-
4.9. 4.9K.
And that's on YouTube.
But it has to do. It's about the Navy, so
Yeah.
I've been trying
That's a good
to
subject
find
Another
put out
subject.
there.
Like how deep do
The
we get into
military.
those kind of subjects?
Not a lot of people know that.
I think that was shocking with her just because I don't think a lot of people knew.
Yeah, I never knew she was from here.
The prison has now shut down. And the
But I
EMS
like
was there.
so maybe we can ask Marvin to do the preview in the beginning of the podcast and then go to the podcast.
Well, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
And she has blonde hair and blue eyes.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
was in and out
another.
of jail all the time as a
The
youngin.
way that plays a lot.
For what? Yeah, I had to protect myself, so I fought a lot.
What was
and,
the
I saw some crazy
title?
shit in
For this
there.
one?
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to
The daughter of a
Real
heavy.
Estate Podcast. We talk about the real shit,
Wait, did
not
you
about
just
real
read it?
estate.
She did that.
I'm your
I
host,
actually
Jones,
really like that a lot. I think that's a great look.
Hey guys, I'm your girl Tyra Nicole.
What's up,
The
everybody?
quality on this one was so top tier.
It was.
Like
What wasn't it the same?
audio,
just wanna give
like
a shout
everything
out.
was.
Okay, we can fast. Can you fast forward this
Brooke,
part?
you are a great editor. Like, that's
We
definitely.
want to give a little quick shout out to our
Seriously.
angel in heaven.
All right. Anyways,
Ashley Rose. There's not a day that goes by that we don't think about you. Oh wow.
anyways.
I wasn't gonna do this.
Here's why I don't have to do
This is so many times.
Well, I mean,
But it's okay.
all right, man.
I don't like watching my vlogs either. I hate my
He said
parents
I
will
was
literally
a
turn it
baby. He said all
on
of
and they'll
these
watch it in the
things. And I was
screen
like,
in our
"Even-
living room.
Are you
And I'll be in the other room
I
like,
love that
and I
though.
hear it and I'm like,
turn it off. I think that's awesome. Nobody watches our podcast.
I
But
had
me.
a block up for
But yeah.
everything. Okay.
Look at the difference in you
Michael, my ops manager, had to
here
send him an email and
versus
say,
the first
look,
one.
As far as
you
me
know, we
talking.
talked about
You're like
Yeah,
so
yeah,
shy.
yeah.
Like,
No,
reserved,
yeah, I will
and
say
now
Tyra's like
you're like
totally.
this, and now you're like all the way up, like ready.
Yep.
Tyra's like, I love it. Like she like gets in
I'll
there.
become more comfortable.
That's from critiquing myself.
Cancel that so you haven't had any out of state since. So I
Also,
See, like I'm
I
talking
think-
my hands, so maybe I need
where I
to
feel
sit
such a
on them.
calling.
I think you girls need to still have that same energy no matter who the guest is.
Yeah.
You have to keep that same energy.
I do love that we were all in sync with our
I
outfits.
think we're starting to do that though.
Yeah.
I agree.
But we're starting to like feel each other. Like I know when you're ready to say something.
We had our day,
Yeah.
our like one day retreat, and I have to say, like, even that whole for William, who stepped out for a minute, he even said like we need to start doing this more, and he's not that person. Like the whole,
What were you talking
but
about?
being in that
Yoga.
space and being
Oh, yeah.
we were on the
That
rooftop.
was great.
You know, for those who haven't seen the video yet, we were on the rooftop in the city. listening to church bells, listening to your voice, listening to the wind. Like I felt like
I will
every
say
time
that
you
was a
said
pretty,
breathe,
like-
the wind would like blow. It was just all. It was.
It was like no, like even doing the yoga and listening to like the cities in Detroit, like the sounds in Detroit and the horns and the music bumping and then the church bells. Like it was pretty awesome.
Calming moment that I think we all really needed at that time. So
I love that. I really
it was
wanted to bring
amazing.
a grounding component to the day, just because you already know I'm gonna use astrology. I'm like,
It took her too long to get to it.
And he said that like I'm a talker. She has that
The thing about her is she was real.
Yeah,
Like
she
that
was.
was just between her and Becky.
But
I need to get to the point faster.
Conversation carrying over
But
for
still,
like
but it's still taking.
I'm so happy.
Yeah.
I feel
She
like
needs
I
You're
found
right.
people.
I need to rein
There were
it
so many
in.
things that we were coming out of at that time. Mercury was in retrograde, Venus was in retrograde, relationships were being challenged. And even my friends that don't understand astrology, I always say understand because it's not a matter of believing in it. It's a real thing. Like, this has been around 700 years. Astrologers and numerologists have been around long before science had, it was basically, my astrology teacher said, is the first science known to man. And there's something that's always going to be around to the end of the day. And she was like, that's astrology and prostitution. Well,
what a comparison! I know.
She's a Gemini, so she's out there.
People what that means.
Yeah.
Like Venus and Mercury in retrograde.
Yeah, definitely. So
I just came up with something. But so like
Venus is the
I'm watching
planet
this,
of love.
and we've talked I'm watching this, and how many times have we said before that
energy right now because
we want to have people back? Like
Yeah, we
have
keep
said that
saying
so
that.
many
We always
times. Almost
say that
every guest
every
we say.
episode.
But can I ask you guys, like, would there be any person you already? I didn't even ask the question yet, and you already answered.
Yeah, because it doesn't make sense to bring anybody back based on what our ultimate goals are that we've already discussed, which is to generate revenue from the podcast. So with that in mind, it's too many people for us to ever bring any guests
Anyone back.
So every time you guys say that, I'm like, it's never happening.
Yeah, because we're paying for the videographers
Absolutely.
to shoot every single
I
episode.
mean, maybe like down the road.
But I feel like we say that
We
like
can tell them to
even
come
the
to
twin
places like
stuff.
Creator Con. Like
Even the twin stuff, I would absolutely like love to have just both.
See, but while you're thinking that lane, I'm thinking the twin situation in RPR
Oh, we've already.
needs to
don't
influence
give
somebody
an idea.
else's podcast. Not have them back on ours, but
Yeah.
we need to start even going on somebody else's.
Yeah, I mean,
to get
Yeah.
that whole.
To get that whole vibe.
It's great
Yeah.
that whatever conversation was happening created such an emotional connection that it made you feel like I want this person to come back.
Yeah.
That's when you know you're in a good spot. But the knee-jerk reaction to that feeling can't be let's invite them back. It has to be like
Here, you can have that on.
let's
No, I'm not
elaborate on whatever we're talking about.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make business sense for us to have
You know.
somebody back.
Wait, you just said something, and I'm like, why didn't I not think of this? Why don't we go on other people's podcasts? We have not yet, us
Right.
three, gone on anybody else's podcast.
I agree, 100%.
Except
We need to start
Becky,
going to
we
other
went on
people's
the radio
podcasts.
show, but that was it.
Beyond that, you guys don't do enough of anything
Promo.
together.
Rob, can you admit they don't understand the power that
Yeah,
they
they
have?
don't get it. Like
should do
this is
We need to
your
start.
only
like, yeah.
united front is Wednesdays when we do this.
Yeah.
Outside of that, it's not anything
They don't
that
see
is
us.
collective. Like people, your brand, no one's going to think about you all and think about the fact that you do RPR podcast.
And that's what I was thinking about for Creator Con. That's why I was like, we need to go all out for this
Yeah.
and really promote ourselves as a podcast.
Yeah. But I just think, like,
As a brand.
collaboration is like huge when it comes to social media, and when other people have like YouTube like channels that are doing well and they have podcasts, like if we go onto their YouTube channel, that's how we bring traction to our YouTube channel.
Well, you can leverage each other's communities and network.
Because it's all different.
Yeah.
Millennial agent. The
Yeah.
seasoned vet that is over here in this lane. The mom housewife that came from, but it's all different.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But maybe we just don't promote enough on our social media platforms.
I know I'm guilty of that for sure.
Well, I think honestly I
try
am
to
too.
promote it
Like
a
I
lot.
post it like once
The only
maybe.
person that posts consistently on their Facebook is Tyra. Like,
Yeah.
we're being honest. and the only reason I bring that only reason I bring that up is because I think Brooke is starting to see it, but Facebook for real estate and for you all's demographic is by far the most powerful platform.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that has to be home base.
Yeah.
And then we build and we expand from that point. But you've been way more active, way more consistent lately.
Love it.
And so
Thank you. I've been trying.
the activity in this like is showing like people are coming out of the woodworks. Probably like people you haven't seen comment on something in forever. Like everybody wants engagement like that.
They'll start to get it when they see the consistency. Cause it's like, oh yeah, she's like, this is what
she's
she
doing
do.
good.
She do this for real. Like,
like, oh, Brooke is killing it. Like,
yeah.
That's the perception. And then I told her that now, and all of us can do this, even with the RPR situation.
No, you're not talking into the mic. Sorry.
Oh, with the RPR situation, if we use Facebook to bring attention to the podcast, meaning like we're doing Sweetwater Wings tonight, right? Like, what if there's a picture? What if we post a picture?
Of us all eating the
no
wings?
one took the picture. No one took
I could
pictures.
just take a screenshot of the video though.
Right. So we took a screenshot of the video and said, you guys have to try Sweetwater Wings downtown Detroit. Like, it is probably the top wing spot, blah, blah, blah. People go crazy over like that type of random content and then see the full episode on our podcast.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
But the only thing with Facebook is, I feel like if you put podcast.
No. That's what I'm saying. You just post about the wings and the picture.
Yeah.
In the comments.
Yeah.
That's where you put the podcast?
The podcast. Like, you guys got to check out this podcast that we did.
Because I try to be like so strategic on what to put. Because if you say podcast, it's like different things that
kind of redundant.
You can't see.
No, it's not redundant. Facebook shuts the reach down.
Yeah,
oh, they do?
Yeah,
100%.
and you can see like
with certain verbiage, like certain words.
Facebook and YouTube are competitors.
Oh, I didn't.
So if you use anything related to making people go to another platform, it's not going to show it to the amount of
that's
people.
interesting.
Well, yeah.
And if you have the kind of page where it shows you like your reach or your views or whatever,
you see it like way
you'll
down.
see the total difference when you post like something like that says watch our podcast, or you can't say go to YouTube. I had started because I saw somebody else put YT, but I think they got a hold to what that means too. So you can't say
YT on my TikTok, like in my bio.
It's only gonna work for a while. But even with like the bonuses, like pictures for Facebook, videos don't work. Videos don't work no more on Facebook.
People, because of videos, it's like you don't know what what the point is of the video.
Right. Well,
but with the picture, it's like you know what's going on. If you're holding a for sale sign, you know.
I don't get why they have the music where you could put it on there, but if you play the music in the reel or the video,
it's gonna get shut down.
Yeah, they say like you can't monetize off of this because it's like
talked about
it's Libra season.
Oh, sorry.
The Monopoly brother.
Let's look
Eric
at that one. That was one of the best.
That's probably. I was excited. That was,
but not every guest is gonna come in like that. Like they.
But we had 2 guests too.
Yeah. That's true. We didn't have just one.
Yeah,
that is true.
But the combo is longer with 2 guests because you have to ask them both the same question.
But I think it worked out.
Yeah.
Wasn't both of them 2 guests? Yeah, it was like 2 guests with Phil and Eric, and then Erica and.
Let's watch that one because I had a lot of like critiques for that one specifically.
How many have you watched?
Which one?
I watched a lot of them.
Okay.
For Eric and Phil's.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Let's go to that one.
Let's go to that one.
And I'm thinking more of like from a viewer standpoint, because you guys are having the conversation, so it's going to be different for you, especially in real time.
Yeah.
Versus like if someone's watching it, what's going to be their mindset,
and that's
like
how I
they're gonna
look at it though. When I go back and watch them, I watch them from a viewer's perspective. That's why I said when we were sitting in here and we were doing the interview, it felt like it was like a great interview. Yeah, but then when I watched it, I'm like, this is kind of boring.
Yeah.
I couldn't even get through like the whole thing.
Which one is it? I can't see. Is it this one?
Yeah, the H2O water.
That one.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Real Estate.
Oh yeah, we sat. I forgot we sat on the same side.
And not about
And we all wore black. Look at that. That wasn't planned.
We do that a lot, though.
We do. That wasn't planned.
I'm your girl Tyra Nicole here.
And I am Nicole Pay, and today we have two guests, so bear with me as I introduce both of them joining us. So Philip Blake, real estate investor and owner of Stride Investment Group. Eric Friday, real estate investor and co-founder of Monopoly Bros. You guys, welcome to our podcast. Thank you for joining us. All right, so let's get into it. Where do you want to dive in?
So, as we told you guys, we get to know the real person outside
I'm good
of
for
real
now.
estate. So that's the first
I'm
question.
good.
Like,
Because we don't have no more
who is
lemonade, do we?
like?
Man, that's
It's what we want to see. That's what we do here.
who is Philip Blake? So as Nicole mentioned, so I'm a real estate investor. I own a company known as Strategizing Investment Group. We do wholesale deals. We do birth strategy, commercial, and everything. I know we're not supposed to be talking all about real estate, but that's kind of what I get used to. I've been doing real estate for the past 10 years. One of the things I've been studying longer, or doing longer than real estate, is one is like health and fitness, and then the other one is like manifestation and understanding really the laws of the universe and how that works.
Oh yeah, we can talk about that.
We talk about that a lot.
Yeah.
We should have him and Kelly on a podcast together. That'd be interesting.
No, that might be a good idea.
We could do stuff like that.
Capitalizing off of two different audiences.
Influence. I mean, for me, it's impact and influence over everything. Being able to positively impact people, because I know that the places that I've been and the things I've been able to accomplish, most people aren't able to be in those same rooms, or they're not lucky enough to be able to be put into a position, right? So that's just some of the things I'm passionate about.
Okay, cool.
So Eric, same question for you. Like, we talk about real estate, we go in deep, but there's a person beyond real estate. And who is Eric to that person? Or to that world?
Let me think. So I would say, first and foremost, I'm a father. I think that's like that's like my first job or whatever.
Can we shout out your, like, give ages, names?
Okay, so this, so
Don't interrupt. We already talked about this a lot.
Yeah. So I think this is probably I think this is a slight example of, like, he's probably in mid-thought, and then what you said probably completely interrupted, like, whatever he's getting ready to think about, which probably makes him more uncomfortable in that particular setting. Like, I think Becky could handle that because she's used to it. But it was like a guest that doesn't do consistent podcasts. I feel like that's a moment for him to just figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Because I think you're trying to help him. Like, in your mind, it's like, I need to give him some information that's going to make it easier for him to answer the question.
And I think that's what it was, because it's easy to talk about.
Then he's like trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
But he needs a moment to just like collect his thoughts. And I think that silence makes you awkward.
Yeah.
Like, it makes you uncomfortable, so the knee-jerk reaction,
you're trying to help.
it's like, I need to say something to help.
So it's
but
not
really,
awkward.
Yeah,
But we
it's
can
not
always
awkward.
cut the podcast too, even if it is like an awkward silence, you know?
Yeah, for sure. But it's always like Rob and I've been talking about, is watching it, so you know what to say, when to say it, and then you give them time to respond.
Yeah. The time is the hardest part.
Sometimes that works for people. They have to take that time to gather their thoughts, and then
that's what can be edited.
Yeah.
In the editing process, you can speed that up to make it seem like they didn't take it.
Because the silence in a real conversation is a trigger for, like, I need to say something. But I think silence for a podcast or this type of situation, it's like, it's good. It's like, let's give them time to, like, gather his thoughts. You know who was like similar to you? Gary Vee. And Gary Vee is a world renowned, like, everybody. You've never
I know
watched?
who he is.
Okay.
I was like, you know Gary Vee?
I know who he is. I've never watched. I just don't. I've never watched
The
it.
biggest criticism from his audience is that he does not give people time to gather their thoughts and respond to what he says. Like,
he talks fast.
If you leave open air, he's gonna fill it. And everybody's like, bro, like, can you let them talk? Like, will you just chill? And he always responds to it like, I don't care what you think. Like it's my show. Like he's on
I'm
that.
not gonna say
yeah,
that.
Right.
He's on that
But
level.
it is something that we've talked about.
Yeah.
We have talked about a lot, and everyone knows I'm a talker.
That's what made me watch it.
You wanted to.
Like it's something.
I didn't watch it based off of you going back. You saying it,
right.
Yeah,
but no, I think it's gotten way better.
But you're right, though. It's the difference between someone like Becky who can respond and me learning to.
Yeah.
And it's natural.
It's just a natural conversation. It is. It's just a natural thing for me to do that. So.
It's amazing.
So I mean that.
See, and that's why he sat back and he had to regather his thoughts.
Yeah, I see it. No, I see it. You're right.
You're busy. You are busy.
See, you're still doing it. Like, you're trying to help. It's coming from a great place.
Yeah.
But like, just let me talk.
This is my show, don't you?
I feel like I'm a just natural born grinder / hustler. I grew up with just my mom and my dad. My mom and my dad and my sister. And I have a sister and a brother from my dad as well. But I'm the youngest.
But we're interviewing them again, right? At the thing. So this is good to watch.
Yeah, I need to go back and watch. Mental note. Go back and watch this one.
I've always just wanted more than what I saw.
Just know he needs that little time
moment
to gather his thoughts.
You're not doing this.
Oh, we're not doing this. Oh, wait.
No, Nikki needs to let him talk.
Is he real estate?
We're gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
You just opened that.
Ebony's doing it. Because remember I asked you guys.
I thought Ebony was being interviewed.
She's host. I'm gonna let her host that particular conversation.
Okay.
You guys are gonna be like Mark Z and like that.
Good, because I don't want to go on stage twice.
That was like I didn't really have a passion for much. Like I enjoyed playing sports, hanging out with friends, and doing different things. But in terms of passion,
so Ebony's not going to be the person.
Like I'm basically allowing her to like have the platform to say the things she want to say, but also ask questions.
When I started working at Walgreens, my goal from the minute I got in the door making $7.50 an hour was, what job makes more than this in this company? And I took that, I scaled up to assistant manager, and then at that point, I knew I didn't want to be a store manager, but I was looking for other opportunities to make more money, so I went out and found another job. So for me, I just feel like the big part of it is just that I just like a natural progression, and I look at life like a marathon, and I try not to be short-sighted on what I'm doing and what I'm thinking about. And just think about things in a marathon state, in a marathon mind state, long term. So, father, obviously, I'm a real estate investor. I'm actively going to the gym. I actively work out.
So health and fitness.
Correct.
Is in there.
I run. One of the reasons why I'm kind of late here is because I ran 6 miles before.
You want to know? I noticed too. I'm saying this. Like I love. Originally, you're like, we should do 2 guests at the same time. Watching them listen to each other.
It's painful.
It's painful. It's almost like it's. Like I can see when
Phil wants to talk.
Yeah, when Phil was talking, like Eric wanted to say something, and it was like back and forth, and it's hard because I can see it in the video. Like it's not organic. If that's a word we're using, because we use that word a lot.
So you always feel like the spotlight.
Yeah,
and you always feel like
feeling that
just person.
I felt that when Phil was talking, watching Eric, and I felt that when Eric was talking, watching Phil.
We allow them to relate to themselves or relate to the conversation and let them chime in. Does that make sense?
Or just have one guess.
I was saying, I didn't even know.
That was just in that case.
Yeah, that's just a real estate.
But when you said it though, I was like, oh, that's a great idea. Like having 2 people on. Now watching it, I'm like,
yeah. No, I said it like.
But then they end up actually like having a lot in common towards the end.
Towards the end,
like coming together.
Yeah.
But then in the beginning they were still like trying to fill
watch.
each other
I can kind of feel the pain. Like you said, painful was a great word.
I thought he was like listening to me.
But I'm not listening to him. I'm watching Phil's face.
But I feel like Phil was like into what
he's into
like,
it. But she's saying he wants to chime in.
Yeah,
he wants to say stuff.
That's because Phil's a talker though.
Yeah.
Yeah, Phil is in all those groups,
and he leaves so much empty air.
Yeah,
and because he likes to think and gather his thoughts.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll have to look into that. So you guys both touched on something in health and fitness, and I really want to because you both said it triggered me to ask, and you can answer however who comes to first. Where did it come to the point where you woke up and said, you know what, my health, my fitness, this lifestyle?
It's my hands. I need to sit on my hands.
Your hands are fine.
You're taking too long to ask questions.
I thought you were saying because I understood.
Right, so you can grow up in sports and things like that, but when you for me, when I'm looking at being productive or being the best, Eric's had some really good points about achieving, you getting legacy, you want to leave things behind for your family. You want to.
I think a way that you could potentially, this is just a suggestion, a way that you could potentially be better is maybe having a notebook. And I don't know if you could do this and actually be, but there's a lot Grant Cardone is very big on his notepad and his pen. And so he'll write as the conversation happens and he thinks of things he wants to ask, he won't ask it. He'll write the question down. He lets them complete their thought. And then he asks the question after the thought is done. So it's just it could be something that could help get you to a point to where you can simplify the question because you wrote it down and now you don't have to think about it.
No, I agree with that though because
there's nothing wrong with
I'm a notebook. Ask him, how many notebooks at home do I have?
Yeah, or even a laptop. Bring a laptop, type
I'm very
it out.
much that person. I think that's a
Joe
great
Budden
idea.
carried their whole everybody on the podcast has a laptop in front of them and they're constantly.
It should be more natural.
Yeah.
It doesn't
I have
to
notebooks
be so,
everywhere that I write thoughts down.
We have to do things a certain way. Type of thing.
That's
Real
definitely
quick,
a good idea.
You know what I like about this? She's wearing Lions gear.
Oh,
right? So you know what we're doing right now?
What?
We're breaking down film for the next game.
For the next game.
Yes,
Because the Lions.
We're becoming better.
Yes. No, I actually like that idea. And when we first started, I had paper that I would write stuff on, and then as time went on, I kind of stopped bringing it. So,
and we could do.
I could probably do that too. I
this
feel
is how I feel about everything. But we can do what we want to do. Who's to say how you have to do a podcast?
That's true.
That's how I feel about everything in life.
There's no rules.
You guys are watching another episode of the RTR podcast. We'll see you on the next one.
Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Comment and subscribe.
Peace.
And